Alright, in this video, I'm going to talk about several basic Git commands. So this includes Git initialization, which is used to create a new repository in your working directory. And then we have git add, git status, git commit, and then this command, and then the last one is this one. So first, I'll go with the Git initialization first. So in order to use the Git initialization, first you need to have your own working directory. So my working directory, I'm going to create a new folder. So I will call it as test, let's say. So in this test folder, I will right click, and right now I have my git bash here. I will click on my git bash. First, we can do the git initialization. So you can see that when you do a git initialization, you create a .git folder. So this .git folder, it consists of metadata, so which is the data that is going to use for your repository. And this thing, it will use to save all of your history, and you don't actually have to care about it. Right now, I create my empty git repository, so there's nothing over here. When you type the git status, you can see that right now you are on a master branch. So in Git, we have something called branches, and we can have master branch, and you can create other branch. And in this video, I'm not going to talk about branch first. I will talk about branch maybe in my future video. Let's create a new folder. I can use a nano command. So this nano command actually can find it in many Linux distribution if you are familiar with Linux command. So nano you can use to create any file. Let us try to create a text file. So let us say test.txt. Okay. So when you create using a nano, and then you will open a text editor in Windows here. And in the Windows here, and then you can type in anything. So let's say you create a main function or anything, okay, anything you want to create. So in order to exit this, you can type Ctrl X and then type yes to save your buffer, and then type enter to exit. Okay, so after you create test.txt, you can see that over here there's a test.txt files appear. You can type git status. So you can see that there's a red color test.txt, which is the files that you have just created, and it appears at red color when there's some changes or when there's some new files added into the Git repository. So in this case, there's a new file added in the Git repository. So when there's a new file, the Git will call it as untracked files. And later you will see that if you have made some changes to your files, right, the Git will call it as another name. Okay, so when you create a new file, and because Git it doesn't have any tracking to this file, so it falls under untracked files. So the next step is that to add our test.txt into the staging area before we save our changes into the repository, which means that before we commit our changes into the repository. So actually there are two steps in order to move the files that you have changed into the repositories. So this is the example. So first, your test.txt right now is in red color, so it's in your working directory. And then the next step is to add it to the staging area. So why don't straight move the file into the repository? So actually there are several advantages of using the staging area, and it allows you to have a final control of how you want the files to move into the repository. Because once you move into the repository, right, you are actually ready to push it to the remote repository. So it's better to have a staging area, so it allows you to have a final control. So let's say right now we'll create another file, nano test1.txt, and in this test1.txt I will put a void test1 function, and I will type Ctrl X, and then I will type Y to save, and then press enter to get out. And right now you can see that when you type git status, you can see there are two untracked files. One is test.txt and then another one is test1.txt. So let's say right now you can use git add command to add test.txt into a staging area. So when you type a git status, you see that when you add into a staging area, right, so the test.txt, it becomes green color. So right now, let's say you modify the test1.txt. Okay, let us modify something. Let's add a variable integer I equal to 0. Okay, and then let's get out. So if you do git status, and then right now you realize that there's something that is needed to be added into the test.txt because you have made some modification on the test1.txt, and the changes that you have made in the test1.txt is going to affect something in the test.txt. What you can do is that you can do a git rm -cac -hed test.txt. So this command is actually going to move the test.txt from staging area back to the working directory. So right now, if you do git status, you can see that right now test.txt and test1.txt, they fall under the untracked files. So what you can do right now, you want to make the modification in test.txt, you can type nano test.txt, and then you can make some modification. Let's say I make modification like this, and then let us exit, save it. What we can do when you do a git status, you have two untracked files right now, and you are ready to commit these two files. And what you can do first, you do a git add, you put a dot, git add dot is going to move all of the changes into the staging area. So when you type it and you do a git status, you can see that you move all the changes into the staging area. And right now you can do a git commit -m, and you can type a commit message. This commit message is important because it's going to represent what you have added into your repository. So you are going to type test added created test.txt and test1.txt. Alright, so if you do a git status here, so you can see that there's nothing to commit anymore, and you have nothing in your working directory. All the changes have been committed. And if you do a git log, you can see that this is commit ID, and this commit ID, it represents the changes that you have committed at this particular point. So next time, let's say you have created a lot of commit and you want to go back to this particular commit, and this is the commit ID that you want to use, that you want to go back to. And this is a commit message. It helps you to understand what you have done in this particular commit, what you have saved at this particular commit. So at this particular commit, I have created a test.txt and test1.txt. So right now you have committed your changes. So let us see how our changes in our commit looks like. If you just see using git log, right, it's just bunch of words. It doesn't give you a feeling of GUI. So if you want a feeling of GUI, you can actually use git k -all. You open up a window. So you can see that at this particular point, you have saved your changes, which you have created test.txt and test1.txt. So you can adjust the size. If you have a lot of commit, you can adjust the size over here. And you can see when you click at this point, right, you can see at test.txt, you have added a main function with a variable j, and in test1.txt, you have added a test1 function with a variable I. Okay, so if you want to exit, you can close it right now. And another way you can use this command, you can type Ctrl+C to copy, and then you can click on the scroll button to paste. So this alias, it means that this graph represents the git log command. So instead of typing git log to see how is your commit looks like, you can use this git log -all decorate one line graph. So it's actually a way of visualizing how is your commit looks like. So you type enters and you type graph, and you can see that this is a commit ID, and this is where your head pointer points to, and this is your commit message. And another thing I want to show you all is that you can actually type in the message, your commit message, in a different way. So let's say right now I create a nano test2.txt file, and I type in some function, and let's exit, and then I will do git status, and then I will git add everything. And then right now, if I want to do commit, right, I can just type git commit without the message, without the -m. So it will enters over here. So over here, you can type your commit message. Here's a different way of typing a commit message. So you can right now, if you want to insert a message, you can type I. So you can say test2.txt is created. So in order to, after you finish typing, right, in order to exit, you can type escape key, and then you can type semicolon and then WQ. So WQ stands for write and quit. So you write the file, you write the message, and then you quit it. Okay, and then you press enter. So right now you have committed, and you can do a git log. You can see that your head is pointing towards this commit ID. And what you can also type graph, which you have defined just now. You can see this is commit ID, and then head is pointed at this particular commit. Test2.txt is created, which is one commit ahead of this commit create test.txt and test1.txt. Okay, and you also can type git k negative all. And after come to this window, you can see that right now you have two commit, and right now your head is pointed at this commit, and you can see that this is your commit ID over here. And you can see in this particular commit, it has a parent. So this parent, which is a commit behind of your commit. Okay, so this is a parent of this one. And for this commit, it has no parent, but it has a child, and the child is the test2.txt, which has this particular commit. So we call it as parent and a child. Okay, so at this particular commit, you can see test2.txt have added a function. All right, so let's quick right now. So okay, so before we end this video, let's go through what we have learned in this video. So we learn the git initialization, which is used to create a new repository. And this git add used to add our particular changes into the staging area. And then we can do a git status to see the status of our files, whether it's in a staging area, whether it's in a working directory, or whether it's being committed. And this git commit is to commit our changes into our repository. And this git k negative negative all and this alias graph, this thing is for us to visualize how our commit looks like. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video.